Property taxes are exploding across America. And I mean exploding. Not 5% increases, not cost of living adjustments, not gentle nudges upward that you grumble about and move on. 30% increases, 40%, 50% in a single year. Homeowners opening their bills in January and feeling their stomach drop, staring at a number that doesn't make sense, a number that wasn't in the budget, a number that changes everything. Some of you watching this already know exactly what I'm talking about. You got the bill, you saw the number, you're still trying to figure out what to do about it. Maybe you called the assessor's office. Maybe you yelled at someone who couldn't help you. Maybe you just sat at the kitchen table doing math that doesn't work no matter how many times you run it. You're not alone. This is happening everywhere, and 2026 is the year it all comes due. Let's talk about which states are getting hit the hardest, why this is happening now, and what, if anything, you can do about it. If you own a home, if you're thinking about buying a home, or if you just want to understand why your neighbors are suddenly talking about selling and leaving, subscribe. We track the tax changes nobody warns you about, the reassessments that blindside people, the bills that force families out of homes they've owned for decades. No politics, no outrage theater, just the information you need before the bill arrives. Hit subscribe. Takes 1 second. Let's see if your state made the list. Here's what's actually happening. Property taxes are based on assessed values. The county looks at your home, decides what it's worth, and taxes you based on that number. When home prices explode, assessments follow. Not immediately, but eventually. Remember the pandemic housing boom? 2020, 2021, 2022? Home prices went vertical, bidding wars, all cash offers, houses selling for $50,000 over asking price the day they listed. That wasn't a dream. That happened. You watched it. Maybe you lived it. Those gains are now being captured in tax assessments. The lag is over. The bill is arriving. Many states reassess property values on 2 to 4 year cycles. Not every year, periodically. The 2020 to 2022 boom, that appreciation is hitting tax bills right now. In 2025, in 2026, all at once. You bought your house in 2015 for $280,000. You've lived there for a decade, raised your kids, built a life. That house is now assessed at $520,000. You didn't sell, you didn't cash out, you didn't get a check for the difference. You just live there. Same house, same job, same salary. But your tax bill doesn't care about any of that. Your tax bill sees the new number, and the new number is brutal. But here's what makes 2026 specifically devastating. Several states delayed reassessments during COVID. They gave homeowners a break, let values lag behind the market, froze assessments while the world figured itself out. Sounds generous, right? Sounds helpful. Now they're catching up, all at once. 3 years of appreciation hitting your bill in a single year. Not gradual increases you can adjust to. A bomb detonating in your mailbox. Let me show you what normal looks like versus what's happening now. Normal reassessment cycle. Home values go up 5 to 8% per year. Your assessed value increases gradually. Your bill goes up a few $100s. You grumble, you adjust, you move on. That's manageable. That's expected. That's how the system is supposed to work. Delayed reassessment is different. Values sat frozen for 2 or 3 years while the market went crazy. Prices climbed 20%, 30%, 40%. The assessment didn't move. Your bill didn't move. You thought you were okay. Then the reassessment hit. All at once, 40% increase in 1 year. You weren't prepared for that. Nobody budgets for their property tax doubling overnight. Nobody can absorb a $4,000 increase without making changes somewhere else. Skipping vacations, cutting back on groceries, raiding savings, putting expenses on credit cards. Or worse, selling, leaving, losing the house you planned to die in. States that delayed assessments are now playing catch-up, and catch-up is brutal. Some counties are seeing average increases of 30 to 50%. Not outliers, not worst-case scenarios, averages. And here's the part that really stings. It's not just the traditionally high-cost states getting hit. California, New York, New Jersey. You expect property taxes to be painful there. That's priced in. People know what they're signing up for. The explosions are happening in places people move to for affordability. Texas, Idaho, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, the states everyone fled to when they wanted to escape high taxes? They're becoming exactly what people ran from. Let me explain how this happened. The Great Migration of 2020 to 2022. You remember it. You watched it. Maybe you were part of it. Remote work went mainstream. Suddenly, you could do your job from anywhere. And anywhere started looking a lot better than the expensive city you were stuck in. COVID flight. People leaving dense urban areas for space, for yards, for rooms to work from home in. They left California. They left New York. They left Illinois and New Jersey and Massachusetts. Where did they go? Texas, Florida, Arizona, Idaho, Nevada, Tennessee, North Carolina. States with no income tax, states with lower costs, states with space and sunshine, and what felt like freedom from the crushing expenses of the coasts. They brought cash. They sold their expensive homes in San Francisco and Los Angeles and New York. They showed up in Austin and Phoenix and Boise with equity, with down payments that local buyers couldn't match. They bid up prices. A house that was worth $300,000 in 2019 sold for $450,000 in 2021 to someone from California who thought they were getting a deal. Local residents who didn't sell watched their home values climb on paper. They didn't get richer, their bank accounts didn't change, their salaries didn't change, but their tax bills did. Your neighbor from California paid $600,000 for the house down the street. Now every house on the block gets assessed based on that sale, including yours. You didn't move, you didn't sell, you didn't ask for any of this, but you're paying for their arrival. The affordability that attracted migrants is disappearing, eaten by the very migration it attracted. The states people move to for relief are becoming the states people need relief from. So which states are getting hit the hardest? Which homeowners are seeing the biggest explosions? The answers might surprise you, because some of these states have been selling themselves as tax-friendly for years. Low taxes, business-friendly, come here and keep more of your money. That reputation is about to get tested. Section 2 names. The specific states where property taxes are exploding in 2026, with real numbers, real increases, real consequences. We'll start with the state that markets itself as tax-friendly while quietly having some of the highest property tax rates in America. The no income tax promise that comes with an asterisk the size of your tax bill. Then we'll hit the state where retirees moved for sunshine and low costs, and are now getting priced out of homes they paid cash for. And we'll cover the state that's been in full-blown crisis mode for 2 years straight, where longtime residents are literally losing their homes to tax bills they can't pay. The explosions are real, the damage is real, the decisions being forced on families are real. Let's see where the bombs are dropping. Let's get specific, because property taxes are going up doesn't tell you anything useful. That's been true for decades, that's not news. What's happening now is different. These are the states where explosions are happening right now, where 2026 bills are forcing real decisions, where families are sitting at kitchen tables trying to figure out how to make numbers work that don't work. Let's start with the big one. State number 1, Texas. Texas, the Lone Star State, no state income tax, business friendly, the destination for half of California over the past 5 years. The bumper sticker says no income tax. The billboard says keep more of your money. The reputation says tax friendly. Here's what the reputation doesn't mention. Texas has property tax rates among the highest in America, top 5 nationally, some years top 3. No income tax doesn't mean no taxes. It means they get you another way. And they're getting you home values in Austin, in Dallas, in Houston, in San Antonio, up 40 to 60% since 2020. The tech boom, the migration wave, the corporate relocations, everyone wanted in, prices followed. Those gains sat in the market for a few years. Now they're fully captured in assessments. A house that was assessed at $350,000 in 2020 is now assessed at $550,000. Same house, same owner, same salary, paying the mortgage. The tax bill went from $8,000 to $13,000 in 5 years. That's $5,000 more every year, forever, until values come down or you sell. You didn't get a $5,000 raise, but your tax bill did. Texas has been passing relief measures. They know this is a problem. Homestead exemptions got increased. Compression formulas got implemented. Politicians make speeches about property tax relief every session. But relief can't keep pace with appreciation this fast. The exemptions grow by hundreds. The values grow by tens of thousands. It's like bailing water with a teaspoon while the hull has a hole in it. Longtime Texans are being taxed at rates based on what Californians paid for houses down the street, and they're drowning. The people who moved here for affordability, they brought prices that made it unaffordable for everyone else. Texas has no income tax. Texas also has property tax bills that exceed some states' combined income and property taxes. The asterisk on the bumper sticker is the size of your January bill. Texas at least has no income tax to soften the blow. You're not paying twice, just once, brutally. The next state doesn't have that excuse. High property taxes and state income tax and a reassessment cycle that just detonated across the entire metro area. State number 2, Georgia. Georgia, Atlanta Metro, one of the fastest growing regions in America for the past decade. Everyone discovered Atlanta. Businesses relocated. People followed. The sprawl sprawled further. Home prices climbed steadily through the 2010s, then COVID hit and they went vertical. The 2024 and 2025 reassessments captured years of explosive growth all at once. Tax bills arriving in 2026 are devastating. Fulton County, DeKalb County, Gwinnett County, Cobb County, every major metro county is seeing massive jumps. Homeowners are reporting 30% increases, 40%, 50%. Not over 5 years, not gradually, in one reassessment cycle. A house bought for $300,000 in 2019 is now assessed at $480,000. You've owned it for 6 years. You've paid your mortgage on time every single month. You've maintained the property, done everything right. And now the county wants an extra $3,000 a year for the privilege of staying in your own home. Where does that money come from? For young families, it comes from somewhere else in the budget. Dance lessons get cut, vacations get canceled, savings contributions stop. For seniors on fixed income, it comes from nowhere because there is nowhere. The money doesn't exist. They bought decades ago when Atlanta was affordable, when their neighborhood was working class, when nobody thought it would become what it became. Values tripled, income didn't, pensions stayed the same, Social Security stayed the same. Now they're being taxed like they're wealthy. On paper they are, in their bank accounts, they're not. Georgia has exemptions, homestead exemptions, senior exemptions. They help. But exemptions can only do so much when values jump 60% in 5 years. You're reducing a number that's growing faster than the reduction. Georgia got expensive fast, but the next state has been in full-blown crisis mode. This isn't an adjustment. This isn't a correction. This is an emergency. State number 3, Idaho. Idaho, Boise, Coeur d'Alene, mountain towns with stunning views and what used to be affordable housing. Used to be. Home values in parts of Idaho doubled between 2019 and 2023. Doubled. Not went up significantly, doubled. A house worth $250,000 became worth $500,000. In 4 years, property tax bills followed. Longtime residents saw their taxes double, triple. People started losing homes. Not figuratively, not as an expression, actually losing them, unable to pay the tax bill on houses they owned outright. You paid off your mortgage in 2010. 15 years later, you can't afford to live in your own house because the annual tax bill exceeds your entire Social Security check. You own the house free and clear, and you still can't afford it. Idaho declared a property tax emergency. The state legislature scrambled. They passed emergency relief legislation, circuit breakers, caps, anything to stop the bleeding. But relief measures take time to implement, and the bills arrived before the relief did. People sold, people left, people lost homes their families had owned for generations. Idaho is Exhibit A for what happens when appreciation outpaces income. When outside money floods a local market, when values become disconnected from what local wages can support, when the tax bill reflects what someone from Seattle would pay, not what someone from Boise earns. The state that attracted people seeking affordability became unaffordable. Not for the newcomers with California equity, for the locals who were already there. Idaho is in crisis. The bleeding has slowed, but the damage is done. The next state is different. The next state is massive, and the property tax explosions are hitting millions of homeowners at once. State number 4, Florida. Florida, the retirement destination, the no income tax promise. The Sunshine State. Everybody's moving to Florida, has been for years. The trend accelerated during COVID and never stopped. Home values in Miami, in Tampa, in Orlando, in Jacksonville, up 50 to 70% since 2020. Sounds like a disaster waiting to happen, right? Same as Texas and Idaho and Georgia. Florida has a trick. Something called Save Our Homes. Save Our Homes caps how much your assessed value can increase each year, 3% maximum, no matter how much the market goes up. Your house doubled in value? Assessment only goes up 3%. Sounds like protection. Sounds like Florida figured it out. Here's the catch. The cap only protects you if you've been there, if you already owned the house when the boom happened. New buyers get assessed at full market value, day one, no cap, no protection. Your neighbor bought in 2022 for $500,000. They're paying taxes on $500,000. You bought the identical house in 2015 for $250,000. With the cap, you're paying taxes on maybe $300,000. Same house, same street, same services, wildly different tax bills. Sounds great for you, right? You're protected. Until you need to move. Sell your house and you lose the cap. Buy a new house and you get assessed at full 2026 market value. No protection, no phase-in. Your tax bill could triple overnight because you moved. You're trapped. Stay in a house that no longer fits your life, kids moved out, too many bedrooms, wrong part of town, health issues that need a different setup. Or move and watch your property taxes explode. Florida's protection became Florida's trap. You can't leave without getting punished. And then there's insurance. Florida's insurance crisis is a whole other video. Premiums doubling, tripling, carriers leaving the state entirely. Property taxes plus insurance equals a monthly cost that's crushing people. You moved to Florida because it was affordable. You're staying because you can't afford to leave. That's not freedom, that's a cage with palm trees. One more state, quick hit, because the pattern needs to be clear. State number 5, Arizona. Arizona, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tucson, same story. Migration boom, values exploded, assessments catching up. Maricopa County homeowners seeing 20 to 35% assessment increases. Tax bills climbing $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 in a single year. Retirees who moved there for affordable retirement are discovering it's not affordable anymore. The dry heat is lovely, the tax bill is not. 5 states: Texas, Georgia, Idaho, Florida, Arizona. Millions of homeowners, bills that don't match incomes, assessments that reflect what outsiders paid, not what locals earn. And here's what makes this especially painful. These aren't the traditionally high-tax states. These are the states people moved to for relief. The states that marketed themselves as affordable, business-friendly, tax-friendly. The relief is over. The states people ran to are becoming the states people need to run from. But running doesn't help everyone. Some people can't move. Some people shouldn't have to. Section 3 shows you who's actually getting hurt. The seniors losing homes, the families making impossible choices, the longtime residents being priced out of neighborhoods they built, and what you can actually do about it. Because understanding the problem isn't enough. You need a plan. That's next. Let's talk about what these explosions actually do to real people. Because numbers on a page don't capture it. Percentages and assessment increases and tax rate adjustments. That's abstract. That's policy. The damage is human. Let me show you who's actually getting hurt. The first group, the one getting hit the hardest, seniors on fixed income. This is the cruelest irony in the entire property tax system. You bought your house 40 years ago, back when the neighborhood was different, back when prices were different, back when everything was different. You paid it off 20 years ago, made that last mortgage payment, celebrated, thought you were done. You did everything right, worked your whole career, saved when you could, lived modestly, built equity the slow way. Now you're retired. Your income is fixed, Social Security, maybe a small pension if you're lucky, a little bit from savings you're trying to stretch across however many years you have left. That income doesn't grow. Social Security gets cost of living adjustments that barely keep pace with grocery inflation. Your pension is the same number it was the day you retired, but your tax bill grows. The house you bought for $80,000 in 1985 is now worth $450,000. Congratulations on your paper wealth. Now pay $9,000 a year in property taxes on a $28,000 Social Security income. That's a third of your income just for property taxes, before utilities, before insurance, before food, before medication. The math doesn't work. You can't afford to stay. The tax bill exceeds what you can pay. But you can't afford to move either. Where would you go? Everything costs more now. Rent is higher than your mortgage was. Other houses have the same tax problem. So you do what seniors are doing across America right now. Reverse mortgages, borrowing against the equity in your home just to pay the bills on your home. Tax deferral programs. The state pays your taxes and puts a lien on your house. Your heirs deal with it later. Cutting expenses to the bone. No more eating out. No more gifts for grandkids. No more anything that isn't essential. You're monetizing your home while you're still living in it just to afford to stay. That's not retirement, that's survival. And it's happening to thousands of seniors right now. In Texas, in Idaho, in Georgia, in Florida, in Arizona, in every state we talked about. People who did everything right, getting punished for appreciation they never asked for and can't use. Seniors get hit the hardest. Fixed income meets rising bills. The gap only grows. But young families aren't escaping either. Because property taxes don't just affect people who've owned homes for decades, they affect everyone trying to become a homeowner now. You saved for years, finally had enough for a down payment. 20%, like the books tell you. You found a house, you qualified for a mortgage. The monthly payment fit your budget. Tight, but it fit. You closed in 2023, moved in, started building a life. Then the reassessment hit. Your property tax bill jumped $2,400 a year in one reassessment cycle. That's $200 more per month, on top of your mortgage, on top of insurance that also went up, on top of everything else that costs more now. The house you could afford in 2023, you can't afford in 2026. The numbers changed. Your salary didn't. You're not underwater on the mortgage. You're drowning in the extras. Some buyers are defaulting, not because of the mortgage itself. The mortgage payment they can handle. It's the taxes and insurance stacked on top that break the budget. The American dream of homeownership becoming a financial trap. You got in, now you can't keep up. And if you haven't bought yet, the situation is worse. The tax bill you'll inherit is based on current assessed values. No grandfathered protection, no caps that build over time, no Save Our Homes waiting to help you. You're paying full freight from day one on 2026 values. At 2026 rates, the entry price to homeownership just got a lot higher. Not just the purchase price, the carrying cost. Seniors are trapped by taxes on appreciation they can't access. Young families are stretched by bills that grew faster than their careers. But there's another group getting crushed, and nobody talks about them. Longtime residents in gentrifying areas. You've lived in the same neighborhood for 30 years, raised your kids there, watched them go to the local schools, know everyone on the block. The neighborhood wasn't fancy when you moved in. Working class, affordable, comfortable. Then it got discovered. First came the coffee shops, then the craft breweries, then the restaurants with $14 sandwiches, then the young professionals, then the renovations, then the flips. Property values tripled. Your house that was worth $150 is now worth $450 because the neighborhood changed around you. You didn't ask for gentrification. You didn't want the coffee shops. You just wanted to stay in your home, in your community, near your church, near your friends. But the county doesn't care what you wanted. The county taxes your home based on what new arrivals are paying, not what you paid, not what you can afford, what someone with tech money thinks the neighborhood is worth. You're being taxed based on someone else's money, someone else's bid, someone else's decision to move into your neighborhood, and you can't keep up. Communities that existed for generations are being broken up, families scattered, longtime residents pushed out. Not by force, by tax bills. Economic displacement, disguised as property appreciation, disguised as neighborhood improvement. The neighborhood got better on paper, got worse for the people who built it. So, what do you actually do about any of this? Because watching the explosion isn't the same as surviving it. Let me give you the options. Real options. Things you can actually do. Option 1. Challenge your assessment. Assessments aren't handed down from heaven. They're made by people. People make mistakes. Your assessed value might be wrong, based on bad comparables, based on incorrect square footage, based on condition issues they didn't account for. You can appeal. Most states give you a window after you receive your assessment notice. 30 days, 60 days, varies by location. Gather evidence. Find recent sales of truly comparable homes. Document any condition issues with your property. Anything that suggests your assessed value is higher than it should be. File the appeal. Make your case. Success rates vary. Some people get 10% reductions, 20%. Others get nothing. But if your assessment is wrong, this is how you fix it. The deadline matters. Miss the appeal window and you're stuck for another year. Check your notice the day it arrives. Option 2. Apply for every exemption you qualify for. Homestead exemptions, senior exemptions, disability exemptions, veteran exemptions, low-income exemptions. Most states have multiple programs. Most homeowners aren't enrolled in all the ones they qualify for. Studies consistently show 20 to 30% of eligible homeowners aren't claiming exemptions they're entitled to. That's free money you're leaving on the table because you didn't know to ask, because you assumed it was automatic, because nobody told you. Go to your county assessor's website, find the list of exemptions, check the requirements, apply for everything you qualify for. This isn't gaming the system, this is using the system the way it's designed. Option 3. Tax deferral programs. Many states allow seniors to defer property taxes until they sell the home or pass away. You don't pay now. The state puts a lien on the property. The bill comes due later. This solves the cash flow problem. You stay in your home. You don't write a check every year. But understand what you're signing up for. It's a loan, not forgiveness. Interest accrues. The balance grows. When you sell, or when your heirs sell after you're gone, the deferred taxes plus interest get paid first. Your heirs inherit less. Your equity shrinks over time. For some people, this is perfect. Stay in the home. Let the estate sort it out later. For others, it's a trap they didn't fully understand. Know what you're signing. Make sure your family knows too. Option 4. Relocate. Sometimes the math says leave. Sell in a high tax area, buy in a lower tax area, or a lower tax state. This isn't giving up. This isn't admitting defeat. This is arithmetic. If your tax bill exceeds your ability to pay, staying isn't an option. It's just slow motion foreclosure. Run the numbers, compare states, compare counties, factor in everything. Income tax, sales tax, property tax, insurance, cost of living. Some states are still genuinely affordable. They just might not be the states you're in. Moving is hard. Leaving community is hard. Starting over is hard. Losing your home is harder. Option 5. Budget and absorb. Sometimes you can't fight the assessment successfully, can't qualify for exemptions, can't defer, can't leave. The tax bill is what it is. Build it into your budget, adjust elsewhere, know the number, and plan for it. This isn't the exciting answer. This isn't the victory story. But knowing the number and planning for it beats being surprised by it. Surprises are what break people. Expected expenses can be managed. Here's the bigger picture. Property taxes aren't random cruelty. They fund local services. Schools, fire departments, police, roads, parks, libraries. The money goes somewhere. It pays for things communities need. But the burden is falling unevenly. Falling on people whose incomes didn't rise with their property values. Falling on seniors who got wealthier on paper but poorer in cash flow. Falling on longtime residents who are being taxed based on what newcomers paid. You got wealthier on paper, you got poorer in cash flow. That's the trap. States need to figure out how to fund essential services without pushing longtime residents out of their homes. Some are trying. Circuit breakers that limit taxes to a percentage of income. Assessment caps that slow the growth, freezes for seniors, Targeted relief for the hardest hit. Many aren't moving fast enough. The bills are arriving faster than the solutions. If this video showed you what's coming for your state, or explained what already hit you, subscribe. We cover the tax changes before they hit your mailbox, the laws that affect your budget, the exemptions you didn't know existed. Drop a comment. What state are you in? How much did your property taxes increase this year? Are you staying or thinking about leaving? I'm genuinely curious because this is happening everywhere, and the people living through it have stories the data doesn't capture. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Property taxes are exploding across America. Not gradually, not gently, exploding. The bills are arriving. The decisions are being forced. The math that used to work doesn't work anymore. Some of you will challenge your assessments. Some will discover exemptions you should have claimed years ago. Some will defer and let the future sort it out. Some will move, leave states you thought you'd grow old in. Some will lose homes you've owned for decades, not because you did anything wrong, because the market moved faster than your income could follow. The explosions don't care about your plans. They don't care about your memories. They don't care about the life you built. They only care about assessed value. Know your number, know your options, know your deadlines, and don't let the bill surprise you. Surprises are what break people.